Oops. God damn it. What a failure. Alright, so, we're gonna jump back into this, as we just had some major technical difficulties and I completely screwed up resuming the replay. That was, kind of awful. Alright, we are back into this. We're on just a faster, right? Yes, okay, good. Phew. Alright, so, DNS does just go into the single Phoenix to begin with. And we're just going to see it popping out and having a look around. So we jump into this kind of 30 seconds where we left off because of a little bit of speed up issues. As we see a robo facility about to finish up for DNS as well. And EJK just going into a third command center. And he's still just on the racks and factory, no starport or anything else. There's an engineering bay coming up. Sorry, the starport is here at the back. But he's already got 2 cyclones out. And now a Reaper coming out to move across the map and look to see what he might be able to get up to as he comes to the upper right side of the map. So Reaper just going to have a little bit of a scout around. Wants to see what's going on, obviously, and we'll actually see the third Nexus pretty much straight away here, which is nice. Oh, did you drop some frames as well? Jesus, we dropped some frames too. Everything went bad. As you see the Free Phoenix now coming out, and just see DNS sort of setting up here and towards his own mid game. So both players just going up towards the free bases pretty early on. There's some music bring that back in. Alright, so free bases early on for both players. See, DNS actually dropping the Robo Bay as well. So going into the Robo Bay, his next Phoenix is on the way out, and again that third Nexus will be finishing up shortly. EJK will see when he feels safe enough to move in towards his own third base. It's got a couple of tanks out now, still no further racks, and that's not too surprising. It actually goes into a delayed Cloak Banshee play. So EJK is someone who does like to play kind of weird little different strategies. You see that Cloak Banshee coming up now. But with Phoenix out, you have to imagine this Cloak Banshee isn't going to get a lot done. Maybe the Phoenix aren't in the right place at the right time to begin with, but again, at some point, you have to imagine that the Phoenix just sees the Cloak Banshee and comes back and just deals with it very easily. Yeah, we're gonna see one Phoenix actually being picked off here, and it's a nice turnaround to stop this Cyclone from firing onto that Phoenix, just keeping it alive. So good control out of DNS, good decision making to help him out here. As we see a couple of Cyclones, a couple of tanks, and some Marines down here. Again, just moving around, looking to see what they can get up to. That's Observer just coming across the map, and again, DNS just trying to find some information out. Just keep an eye on what his opponent's doing. We see the Robo Bay is finished, but not getting anything out of it yet. He does start the Twilight Council. Neither player going into upgrades right now, as we see the extra factory starting to drop from EJK for this mech style of play, as we would expect from him. Just because it's EJK and that's how he plays. As his first Banshee is coming all the way up the right hand side of the map, and the Phoenix are not in position to help deal with it initially. I guess the Mothership Core must be around somewhere though. All the way to the third, so this Banshee might be able to get some damage done, as again the Phoenix not finding any luck over down to this side just yet. Cool, so Phoenix not finding much over here. We're going to watch the Banshee come in now and look to get a little bit of damage done, and we're going to see immediately some probes being pulled away. The Phoenix will immediately come back across the map, and again the Phoenix are going to be the answer to kind of being able to deal with this nice and easily. So the Phoenix is going to come across, and they're going to look to try and clean up this Banshee without too much further issue, and to stop too much further damage being taken here. Observer, there was an Observer to the right hand side. I don't know where the Observer's gone now. It actually is chasing the Banshee, but isn't fast enough to keep up with it, and so the Banshee is actually going to escape for now. Second Banshee coming along the top side of the map, going through a little bit of a different pathway, and we'll look at Mauser hits the third base. So again, so far these Banshees actually getting some good damage. This Banshee's going to turn around. It's got 8 kills so far, looking for more. Is this Banshee going to pick up 2, and we'll actually just pick up a third while the army comes in, and we'll push it away towards the main base. But these Banshees are really getting some damage done. I mean, 4 kills now on this second Banshee. There's going to be a 5th kill on this second Banshee now. Oh no, he's actually hitting the Stalkers a couple of times rather than the Probe, which he should have been going for. He is back into the natural of this Banshee, which picks up 3 more worker kills before it gets killed off. And yeah, cool. So, overall, this Banshee play kind of worked out, but at the same time, you know, it's not early in the game, right? It's like 8 minutes in, so any workers that are killed off here are very quickly replaced by a Protoss player, and, you know, you consider the investment into 2 Banshees, 3 Banshees now. Has it really cost the Protoss player this much to, you know, how would did it really slow down the Pros player's economy this much compared to how much it costs to invest into those Banshees? I'm not sure if they were still completely worthwhile. Just because Banshees and Cloak upgrade is quite expensive, and then you keep on losing them as well. I'm not convinced, as we see this Banshee going to come up towards the upper right side of the map as well. Observer will be standing nearby. And we're going to see DNS just getting ready to take his own 4th base now as well. So 4th base is going to be on the way for our Pros play in a couple of moments. He's gone into a couple of Colossi, now he's going into some more Immortals. A couple of Colossi just to kind of buffer your army a bit. That's been a very popular choice as of late. There's a Temple Archive is dropping down from DNS. So Temple Archive is on the way down. And yeah, I mean, Temple Archive is coming down. We're going to see EJK beginning to push across the map and have a look to see what he might be able to get done as he comes across here in the next couple of moments. So this Hellion tank force going to start moving across as we see another Banshee up here is going to be left alone by the Phoenix. Only picked up 1 kill so far, but Stalkers and an Observer and a Cannon should be able to deny from doing too much as I like this. The Phoenix coming straight on in here, picking up a couple of Hellions. And some real good damage to him, picking up a bunch of Hellions here actually. However, 2 of the Phoenix going down, another Cyclone going down as well. EJK will siege up on this low ground. And we'll start to set up a bit of a siege position here. Now, how does DNS try to fight against this? Well, he might just run straight on in, especially if these units keep on coming in with, kind of so far ahead of everything else. And Immortal takes a bit of damage there before its barrier gets popped. And, well, these Hellions and Marines aren't lasting long at all. It's really just the tanks in the back that are the scary part of this. I mean, that's not surprising. The Hellions are just meant to be there to tank, but these tanks on this kind of low ground here, very vulnerable to the Immortals just moving forwards and picking those off, as we see lots of turrets coming in as well. As EJK really going to start supporting this push, making sure that Phoenix or Void Rays aren't going to be able to come in and help too much against this. And just slowly continuing to push on forwards. Siege tank fire going down onto this army. Another scan just revealing where that army is for our Terran player. As behind all of this, he's taking a 4th base too. He's also floating a 5th base out into position. DNS's 4th base is up, but not mining. He might lose one of his robo facilities here. Is currently a one armor upgrade lead for our Pros player, with 2-2 currently building, but only halfway done. And does DNS find a way to push out of this tank force? It's not going to be easy at all. Some phone overcharges being popped and actually picking up some SCVs here. One of the Banshees falling to it as well. And we'll see EJK just continue to slowly push forwards. And I'm just intrigued. Where do we see Pros player really going from here? Does he try and flank this with some units from the low ground? How does he decide to push into this army? Does he just wait for 2-2? I guess he might. He's been very patient here, continuing to allow the Terran player to just push forwards and siege up his base, continue to just take damage, but just waiting and waiting until the right moment to really commit to this. As we see a Immortal picking off another SCV. That Immortal on the high ground looks as though it's about to go down, and it will fall. As now DNS just going to fall away from his 3rd base. Looks as though he's just going to give this up. Maybe start saturating over towards his 4th. Some more tanks coming along to reinforce for EJK, who is maxed out. DNS will be maxed out shortly soon as he adds on, well, Blink about to finish +2/+2 about to finish too. Maybe the upgrades are something that's really helping him here as he starts to engage with some Zealots. Well, a lot of them Zealots just going down very quickly. And it would have been better to engage with this army at the same time, obviously. As the Temple Archive is starting to be very close to going down as EJK continues to push up this ramp now, continue to push into this position. Some Vikings are going to come forwards a little bit. They'll try and take it off the Mothership Core and the Colossus, but here we go. EJK has to kind of kill off this army now as DNS starts to move on forwards. The tanks from the high ground already gone, and there's so many Immortals in this, and Archons too. They're just so tanky that these siege tanks are not doing the damage they need to fast enough, and in fact DNS just pushes on through this, is able to clean it up, and will push through these push through these missile turrets quite quickly as well to follow this up. So EJK takes down a lot over here as the Stalker is going to take down a couple of Hellions. And the Hellions not, well, one single Hellion not going to do much more. Mola picks that off, and in fact, DNS with this counterattack, what does EJK have? He's landing Vikings. He's got so many Vikings against what? I mean, he doesn't have any Colossi left. There's no air units. This command center never morphed into a planetary despite how long it was here for. And that's a bit of a mistake. He even moved this one down to a planetary, but not this 4th base. So that's a bit of an oversight here from EJK as his 4th base gets denied, and Now, DNS, does he see the 5th? He doesn't see the 5th base yet, but maybe something he expects and might kind of go deal with. He might just go and attack up this ramp into this and just try and end the game. He might try and loop around over towards the other entrance to the 3rd. Because some Hellions going to run up this left-hand side. They'll try and run by this 4th base, get some damage done, and, well, quite a few workers could be in trouble here as we see a Stalker warping in to try and deal with this. Actually going to see the assimilators cancelled from DNS, who needs a few more minerals just to help against this. He's down to only 30 probes now, as the Stalker's going to try and see what they can do. Lots of damage being done against these Hellions, but these Hellions doing so much damage as well. They're all kind of, I think, trapped behind the mineral patch there, as these Hellions run up in towards the main base. At the same time, DNS is getting ready to push up in towards the 3rd base from a different location. The tanks are in siege, and this is where we need to be looking right now, as the Hellions actually decide to start coming back home. Liberator goes down so quickly. Siege tanks being targeted. These Liberators are not going to get into a position where they can really do anything substantial. They're just underneath these Archons, I think, as these Immortals move through the liberation zones anyway, and in fact, the Immortals just in high enough number maybe just to end this game right here, as the Vikings are going down. One last Liberator gets killed off. And I think DNS just has too much army for EJK to really be able to deal with. As we see him just going to push on through in towards the main. And that means he's going to be able to camp the production. And EJK is not going to be able to get any more units out at all. He's just going to have to type out GG. And game 1 of this series goes the way. Let's go in game and introduce our players. To the top left side of the map, we're going to be starting with our purple Zerg player. It is going to be from Gravity, Sir Robin. He starts here in the upper left. On his map pick, not really too surprising to see Prime Terrace has been picked here as the choice map to kick things off in a ZVP. As we're going to have down to the bottom right, our red Protoss player. It is going to be Against All Authorities DNS. As again, AT Gaming and Against All Authority teaming up for this season of the SC2ITL. So, we're going to see a Nexus coming down at the gold base, which is of course the natural nowadays here on Prion Terraces. So nothing really surprising here to begin with, out of DNS or from Sir Robin either. Hatch gas pool opening from our Zerg in the upper left side of the map. We'll see DNS scouting here early on, and just having a look to see what is happening in the early stages of this game. Again, I mean, things he'll be looking for, just perhaps the 3rd hatchery coming down towards the other gold, which is exactly what's going on here to begin with from Sir Robin. And we'll have a look at that in a moment or two when this probe comes across and sees it. And he just comes in and sees that hatch on the low ground for now. We'll move up here and we'll see that gas is being mined, not super quickly though, and that Zerging speed hasn't been started yet. And so, he will probably be very kind of... I'm surprised he doesn't go and just confirm the base at the gold. I'm very surprised he doesn't go and confirm that, just to see it. And then again, I've just seen enough already to have figured out that that gold base is going to be there based on the lack of gas already. And there's not going to be anywhere else for him to, for his opponent to have spent the minerals basically early on. As this probe comes all the way home, and we see a Stargate coming up as part of the wall from DNS. And so that's going to be his first tech of the game. So, Stargate tech on the way up from our Protoss player. He's going to start to look to get an Oracle or Phoenix out here. It's actually going to be Phoenix right from the get-go. So, Phoenix play to start things off. And I do worry a little bit still about the fact that the Zerg, okay, sure, the Protoss has a gold base now as well. But the Zerg has 2 gold bases. And if they start to saturate these 2 gold bases, I'm not too sure where I'm not too sure whether it's still just going to be too much economy for the Protoss player, of the Zerg player, for the Protoss to be able to deal with. As you see, this Overlord going to be shot down by a Phoenix. So Phoenix picking up an Overlord kill here. Second Phoenix about to pop out. And early on in this game, just a little bit of pressure going to be coming in from the Phoenix, but not too much else. Something we've been seeing a lot of Zergs do recently in the ZVP matchup on Prime Terraces, especially when they have that extra boosted economy from double gold base, is we've seen a lot of, kind of big kind of attacks off of kind of 30 to 5 to 40 drones with kind of a lot of Roach Ravager laying And we're going to see 24 links starting up in the production tab right now for Sir Robin. No sign of a roach warren yet, however. And he has just got double Evo Chamber finishing, so probably melee upgrades based on how many lings are on the way up and due to the lack of a roach warren currently. As you do see that overlord getting picked off. And let's see. Phoenix just going to be going to see what they can get up to, but not really a lot for them to get up to. As they just have to back away from them couple of queens over here. Fred next is on the way for DNS, so he's going to start getting his own second gold base set up, basically. But is this just going to be a few too many lings for him to defend against here early on? There is double throw and overcharge, and the Adepts very well positioned, and Zealots too, to help defend against this, and perfect defense so far. Just takes a bit of damage on his units, but nothing too major. And is able to just push these Zerglings back without too much of a threat, really being kind of fulfilled. As these Phoenix just going to continue moving around and looking to see if they can pick anything off. So far, they haven't really done a lot, and you know, Phoenix opens, they're meant to get a lot of damage done. They're meant to really slow down the Zerg in the early stages of the game. You know, pick off queens, pick off drones, and okay, now he's picking off some drones, but it seems like these Phoenix are taking a little while to really get going here in this game. As we're going to see now, is Zergling's actually picking off a couple of drones, transferring between bases, so Robin's slightly returning the favour. 47 drones to 46 probes here. +1/+1 melee upgrades still on the way. 18 more lings being made. This is crazy. So many Zerglings coming up here from Sir Robin. I mean, surely he can't just spam Zerglings. He is going to add a Baneling Nest too. Double Robo Facility is on the way up from DNS. I'm not sure what he'll go into with this. Twilight Council is also on the way up here very shortly as well. And Sir Robin, good mineral income just because he's mining so little gas. He's actually still only on 1 gas 6 minutes into this game because he's just massing Zerglings. And this is very, 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 very different to what we usually see out of a Zerg player in ZVP ever, basically. I mean, we see Zergling heavy styles, but still off of just 1 gas. No, not all the time. Now he goes up to 4 gases in total, as he takes 3 new ones. As these lings going to run by in towards this gold base, and probes have to be pulled away. 5 workers for 5 workers on each side of the map. Nothing really kind of major in terms of advantages open up for either players just yet. This is going to be such a stressful game for DNS though, who's going to have to deal with these highly mobile Zerglings time after time after time. As the Phoenix continue to come in, they're going to lift up a drone now as well. And they continue to get some good damage done, picked off a couple of overlords there. So Robin, though, with +1/+1 melee upgrades and now Baneling's on the way and Alera about to finish, I just still don't see it though. Like, surely this just doesn't work. Although I guess if it's only Zealots coming out from DNS, I guess then the Lings stream in after the Banes have connected on the Zealots and just kill off everything else. I mean, that has to sort of be the plan here. And again, he's not really been focusing too much on drones recently, as we see another 34 Zerglings starting up in the production tab. How many Lings are we actually on at this point? 63 plus 34 is going to be 97. It's a lot of Zerglings. It's a hell of a lot of Zerglings. There's this little bit of an army just sitting around over here. These Banes are going to get ready to maybe move on forwards. A few Banes are going to come up this ramp in towards the natural and start busting on through over here. That sentry goes down immediately. Lings are going to be able to stream on through. As at the same time, we're going to see these Banes waddling on forwards over here. And that's going to be some connections. And well, not too much done, but some Zealots caught in the back as Zergling's going to start ripping apart the natural. And I guess the main base too. And is DNS in trouble? I mean, he's going to start losing his natural hatchery. There's going to be a few more Zealots warping in. He's going to come back with the rest of his units. Phoenix coming back across here as well. The problem is for DNS, he just doesn't seem to have anything to really deal with kind of mass Zerglings still, apart from just Zealots. But Baneling's on the way in again. Phoenix are going to try and lift these Banelings, which are morphing in, and stop them from ever becoming a part of this game. And Mortals are currently blocking off these Zealots in the back. And, well, this main base is going to go down the natural as a full and two. And DNS is actually just in so much trouble. I think this is just game. From this point, I mean, you can't come back from just 1 base against 3 or even 4. This was crazy. Sir Robin just busts through and just does so much damage. That is really crazy. And I think, again, it's just DNS maybe not being in the right position right there to see this coming in to kind of force field in time. And not just that, but just in general, like, I mean, again, it's Zealot Immortal, which is, you know, Zealots do okay against Lings, but not against the Banelings. He needed something like Archons a lot earlier, and he was going up to his Templar Archives when, you know, these Zerglings broke through. But he just didn't ever get Archons out, which he kind of really was missing here, I think. As we're going to see these Zerglings continue to just trade away in this third base, and for an overcharge will be popped, but the Zerglings with 1/1 upgrades just cleaning through so much. And more units just continue to stream in. Doesn't even get Bane's speed. As we can see, whoa, huge connections. 25 drones get killed off to the banelines, and this is just going to have to be game right now. In the next couple of minutes, surely. And what else really is there for DNS to do to hold on to at this point? I mean, nothing. He's on 10 probes against 54 supply against 140. And his Banes, these Lings, going to come in and, well, we're going to wrap around. These Zelds going to start taking some damage. These Immortals on their own are not going to stand much of a chance against the Zerglings, as the Zelds just get cleaned up by the Banes. And that's going to be game right there. DNS was useful. Tied up 1 game apiece as we introduce our purple Zerg player to the top right side of the map from Team Gravity. It is Sir Robin. His opponent down to bottom left from AT Gaming, trying to take the lead once again here for his team. It is going to be Optimus. Alrighty, so let's see where we go from here. What these guys are going to get up to in this ZVT. Sir Robin playing a bit of a non-standard style in the ZVP, kind of the Massling opening, the Massling play. Not what I was really expecting at all. Slow banelings as well, but in the end they were, all he needed to clean out DNS. So we'll see what he wants to do here in the ZVT. Last time we cast Sir Robin ZVT, I can't remember. But I remember playing against Sir Robin once in a cup, and he went for kind of a big free base, kind of Ling Bane meter bust. So we'll see what happens here. Natural hatchery is on the way up from this hatch gas pool opening. For our Zerg player, nothing crazy about this in the very early stages. From Sir Robin's point of view, our Terran player just going to be opening with a reactor expand as well. So also nothing strange coming in from our Terran player either. So just a nice macro-based opening from both so far. As we get on into this, and again, I'm intrigued because Sir Robin played so weird in the first game. I'm intrigued as to what he plays here in the second game, to kind of maybe catch Optimus off guard and to see how his ZVT looks. Based on the fact that ZVP looks so different from what we usually see in ZVP. So this SCV just continues to scatter around here, having a look to see what's going on. Having a look to see what is happening. Sees the natural hatchery. It is up over here. So this SCV again, just having a look to see what's happening before coming back home. Factory starts up for Optimus 2. A couple more Marines going to be popping out. And yeah, just a couple more Marines going to be popping out. We're going to see this orbital command in the main, natural, just building the CC. Really nothing too crazy going on. Obviously here on Just Towers, where expecting to see, Optimus pick this map because he probably wants to go into a longer game. Probably wants to kind of just play a straight up macro game. And in fact, I think it's kind of a little bit Terran favored even in TVZ, just because this base can't really be taken by a Zerg place. They have to take this base, which is a little bit further out to the side. And you can kind of drop in here and kind of drop here, then you can lift up and drop here, and lift up and drop here. I actually really like this map from a Terran's point of view in the Terran versus Zerg matchup. As we see these Marines just coming up towards the high ground, just going to group up together in the main base. You can see the tech lab coming down from Optimus on this barracks. I'm going to see a starport as well, just halfway done right here. A starport halfway done. And we see a couple of extractors for Sir Robin as he goes into a fairly quick lair. So he's going to commit to Zerg speed, going to go into a fairly quick lair anyways, and probably means he wants to go into some kind of Mutalisk playstyle in the very near future. As Optimus comes over with the first couple of Hellions, wants to have a little bit of a look around to see what is going on, just have a bit of a poke and see if he can spot anything interesting. We'll run in, might try and get a couple of drones, but certainly do the safe thing, which is just backing away and not sacrificing these Hellions for no real reason. So these Hellions just backing off. And a couple more Hellions going to be joining up. As they're actually going to run by on into the main base, and you will see this last. So this is some good scouting for Optimus straight away to begin with, and ooh, this could be some good connections onto the Zerglings, but he doesn't quite get them before the Zerglings break through the first Hellion. And so all the Hellions going to go down, only 3 workers killed, definitely not worthwhile here. There's another Overlord just pushing over to the right hand side. We see actually Liberator range going to be coming up here from Optimus, who finishes up that fusion core. And I mean, the thing is, this 2-base Spire play, or 3-base Spire play, but very fast Spire play from Sir Robin is going to be the perfect counter to this kind of super fast Liberator range build, because it means he's going to be able to take down Liberators very quickly, very easily with the Mutalisks when they're trying to siege up the mineral lines. He's just going to, I mean, look at this. I mean, what? Liberators upgrade finishes in a minute? The Spire is going to be building Mutalisks already when that Liberator upgrade finishes, so this is going to be interesting as we see this Liberator. Thinking about what he wants to get up to. He's going to just start working on a couple of Overlords over here to begin with. A couple more Hellions which came out, still alive on the map after they didn't suicide like their friends. Now they're just going to be moving over here a little. I'm just going to be kind of pinning back as we see these couple of Overlords going to go down. And nice little cleanup on this Liberator so far. So a couple of Overlords killed, so Robin hits a bit of a supply block. But has a couple more Overlords finishing. And again, we'll be able to start up some mutas here very shortly to help deal with these, with this Liberator harassment. As we see so far, no drones killed. And the second Liberator just heading towards the north side of the map to try and siege up over towards the main base too. But again, with these fast mutas on the way, they're going to be out here very shortly. As we're going to see the Liberators just going to get away behind this mineral line. And we'll be able to siege up from a distance now that that upgrade has finished. This Spore Crawler not going to be much use anymore as the first drone started to go down. Same here in the main base. A couple of drones are going to start falling. So Robin just going to have to wait for these Mutalisks before he can really start dealing with this effectively. Fourth base is on the way down for him. There's Optimus going into his third base as well, getting up into his fourth and fifth racks. So again, his production setup here is upgrades 2+1+1 is now on the way. 4 workers killed in total as these mutas come out, and we'll begin to clean up these Liberators. And this is some, well, again, a nice cleanup. I mean, when you open with the Liberator, the 2-base, or it wasn't 2-base, it was a very fast Verdant, a very fast layer. So just when you open very fast mutas, it's the counter to this sort of build. And so it's no surprise to see, basically Sir Robin doing this on Dust Towers, which is a very popular map for this build order. Mutas will now come across the map and see if they can get any damage done themselves. Couple of tanks here, some Marines, couple of Hellions. I'm going to see him diving for a Hellion but loses a Mutalisk, so not worthwhile just yet. There's another Liberator for Optimus. He's going to try and sneak around the map and maybe get some damage done while the mutas are not in position. Second more mutas being added on as I'm going to see Optimus just starting to push these away. Again, I mean, so far, apart from the fact that Optimus' early aggression got shut down pretty heavily, nothing really major has happened so far this game. It's been pretty standard, both players now on 3 bases, heading into upgrades. It's going to be Mutilating Bane against Marine Tank initially, maybe Marine Mine a little bit later on. As we see these just moving around. Pneumatized Carapace on the way up too to help with that Overlord speed, keep them safe. As this Liberator does siege up over here, picks up 2 worker kills as it transfers over towards the 4th base. But new Mutalisks coming out and we'll be able to shut down this Liberator in the next couple of moments as these mutas not finding any damage yet in the main base either. I mean, a couple of workers, but other than that, the turret helping to push these back. As it looks as though Optimus is going to get ready to move out onto the map and look to see what he can get up to. So Optimus is going to start moving forwards, a clump of Marines to begin with. We'll see Sir Robin continue to expand down the right hand side of the map, this 5th base now starting up. Something we might see coming to fruition as, there's a lot of Mutalisks, and they're going to pick off a few Marines here to begin with. And this is interesting. So many mutas able to actually just fight against these Marines, but there's some more Marines coming in, and with Stim about to finish and Medivacs overhead, the mutas can't fight quite as effectively. 15 Banes on the way, a lot of Lings too. Optimus scanning ahead of time, looking to push in towards this 4th base, it would seem. As again, the muta's not able to do very much towards the back here, but it will actually pick off a siege tank trying to reinforce. This is nice as we see these tanks starting to drop. No Baneling speed just yet as these Banelings start to come on forwards. They get some pretty good connections actually on a lot of the Marines, despite the fact there's a lack of Bane speed. As the tanks there, a few Marines just got caught up in the tanks basically. Yes, we're just going to try and escape now over to the left as we're going to see Optimus continue to kind of push this way, but Mutas, if he can keep up picking off reinforcements, that's going to be very annoying for our town player. He will stim in here to try and fight against these Mutas, but there's just so many Mutalisks, and there's going to be another tank going down, and Optimus is taking a lot of damage as, wow, these Mutas are just going to turn and fight against these Marines now, and Optimus just doesn't actually have enough Marines against how many Mutas there are. Now Zerglin's going to stream forwards too, with a few Banelings as well, and Optimus is falling all the way back to his 3rd base. However, You should be able to set up a defensive position here, but there's so many Zerglings coming in. The tanks are on the low ground, which doesn't help them very much. SCV's being pulled into this, but so many Marines, so many Mutalisks. And I think Optimus is just going to lose right now. Sir Robin forces the GG. He's going to take game 3. He's going to put Gravity in the lead here against AT Gaming. To the top left side of the map from AT Gaming. Let's hear it for our Blue Protoss player. Let's hear it for Fear. Oh, my mouse went crazy there. Let's down to the bottom left side. We're going to have our purple Zerg player from Gravity opening with a 12 pool. It's going to be Sir Robin. Again, guys, what's up? How's everyone doing? If you're enjoying the cast so far this evening, remember, you can hit that follow button and see when I'm live again in the future. And don't forget as well that if you're really enjoying the stream, want to help support me being a full-time streamer and so on, you can always subscribe to the Twitch channel. We are currently aiming for 75 subs. Once we hit 75 subs, we're going to be putting on a free-for-all tournament in the near future once we hit that 75 sub mark. So we're 13 subs away, which is a little way. The sub growth actually slowed down a little bit recently. Which isn't, I mean, obviously it's not great, but it's kind of to be expected. We had a couple of months where subs were kind of coming in by the hordes. Now we haven't had, subs just slowed down a little, but that's cool. But we are aiming for that 75 sub marker to run our free-for-all tournament, which should be a lot of fun. As you see this drone, just having a little bit of a nibble on this pylon, and then we'll just move over towards the third base now, where we'll try and take this hatchery. Now, this was a 12 pool, so Sir Robin is able to move across the map here with some very early Zerglings. However, because Fear has kind of scouted, and he's actually going for a 2-gate base opening anyway, he's not really going to have too much trouble dealing with this at all. I mean, he's going in business already. He can put down a pylon to buy himself time here. And, I mean, just in general, not really a lot going to be done by these Zerglings. He might be able to get a probe kill. That should be about it, as this Zealot gets a kill as well. And this probe just going to try and stay alive. We'll go down too. So 2 workers killed. And we're going to see now Adept starting up as the Zealots does fall. But Adept starting up. And this is the potential for a lot of damage to be done by Fear. He'll immediately clean up these Zerglings and then could just counterattack across the map and force more Zerglings. He's already 8 workers ahead, so if he's going to be able to clean up these workers, or these Zerglings initially, then and he's then going to force more, that's going to put him into a really good position in terms of the worker counts. As we're going to see Fear being pushed back, we're going to pushing this back, we're going to see him now taking down this pylon, so he has access outside of his main. And actually with the natural coming down, you know, to the right-hand side to the third base, this means that Sir Robin's going to have very split-up mineral lines to protect as well. Against these Adepts, with kind of slow Zerglings against Adepts, is not, you know, he's not going to have the mobility advantage. That's definitely going to go the way of Fear here. As he's about to have 4 Adepts moving across the map. Twilight Council gets dropped on 1 base. As we'll see what Fear wants to go into with this. Maybe with so many Adepts early on, just goes into very fast resonating glaives. As he doesn't know what he wants to do just yet. There we go. Pops that down and we'll be able to move out and look as though he wants to expand as well in the near future, which isn't surprising. Players not really wanting to stay on 1 base for too long nowadays in Legacy of the Void. Adept's going to start shading across to this left-hand side of the map. They're going to maybe come and plug this gap over here. We're going to see some Zerglings over here as well. Queen has wandered over as well. I mean, Sir Robin added on 4 drones, but other than that, he's just been making more and more lings. And so it looks like he wants to continue being aggressive, but with so many Adepts already out, and so many damage already been taken on these Zerglings, and being able to keep this Adept alive too. Well, he loses it now, but, I mean, just in general, I think it's going to be very difficult with slow lings and a Queen. Is he really going to be able to push through and take an advantage? Does Queen continue to kind of fall here? As these Adepts can continue to just kite against the Zerglings, obviously, but they will get a little bit surrounded in the corner, but they are going to shade away in time. I don't think any of them are going to fall. They will shade up to the high ground, so Fear keeps his Adepts alive, and now he can kite away if necessary. As these Zerglings just trying to back off and look to see what they want to try and do. These Adepts coming forwards here and going to try and pick off that Queen. We're going to see Lings coming in as well. They're going to try and get surrounded on these Adepts. Adepts falling back, of course, they're then going to be able to go behind the mineral line. The Shade's always coming in at just perfect timings for our Protoss player, who now will just kite away, shade up to the high ground. Actually just get a little bit surrounded here, so some Adepts are starting to fall. As Sir Robin is maybe starting to get something done with this. A few Adepts just shade up to the high ground, though. And, well, I mean, he's still not dead just yet. And Resonating Glaives on the way, so soon these Adepts are going to be even more useful. Another gateway on the way up. Another couple of depths warping in already. Another ship core on the way out too, which will help with the photon overcharge massively on this natural expansion. There we go, photon overcharge coming down, and immediately one of these queens is going to go down so quickly. The second queen too being targeted very quickly as well, and Sir Robin losing a lot and doesn't break through. Does not go back into drone production yet either. Continues with this aggression towards the front. We're going to see these adepts trying to break through this pylon again. Has to come in, defend his nexus though. As now with resonating glaives, these adepts deal so much more damage to these zerglings and able to fight just so much more frequently as they get in behind the minerals once again. And I mean, Sir Robin just keeps throwing himself at a brick wall. I mean, what's he really looking to do? He's actually just going to GG out because there's just nothing he can do here. He's so far games apiece. Heading into game number 5. Let's introduce our players. To the top left side of the map from AT Gaming against all authority is going to be our blue Protoss player. It is Fear. Down to the bottom right is going to be our red Zerg from Team Gravity. It is Whacker. What's that FPS at? 75. I don't know what it is. The last couple of days, my FPS has been so much higher than it has been recently. It's sort of crazy how much higher it's been. As we see, Overlord starting to move out, and Probe already moving out to scout as well from Fear, so very interested in finding his opponent early in this game and figuring out what is going to be out of his opponent so he can just react accordingly, not take too much damage too early in the game. So Probe going to be coming down towards the bottom right side of the map, and that's where he will find his opponent, of course, in these cross spawns. Sophia going to find himself going up against a hatch first into a pool, which he's going to be very happy about considering he's gone for a nexus first into a gateway. And I imagine a second gateway will be on the way up in just a couple of moments time for my Protoss player as well, which is a very standard way to kind of go about going for a nexus first nowadays. So we see this Probe coming in, just going to have a little bit of a look around to see. Again, just kind of confirm what's up. He's actually going to be mostly looking at kind of the lack of gas here, and just kind of asking himself, well, why is there such a lack of gas? I love this as well, messing up the drone stacking of his opponent by mining the minerals a little bit and having them minerals being mined when the drone comes back, so they don't stack anymore. And that's just going to be a slight nuisance. I mean, it's a very minor thing, but you never know if that makes a certain upgrade. Like, I mean, earlier today we saw in the Acer Pro Challenge. We saw the an upgrade being denied by like half a second, and if that half a second difference comes from that little bit of deny you do at the start, I mean, you never know. StarCraft's a game about very small, it's a game of very small advantages, so you lose nothing by doing it, and you could kind of open yourself to gain a lot, I suppose. And as we see, this Probe is just going to be coming back home and working its way back to the upper left side of the map. So Probe coming back home has seen enough down towards the bottom right, has definitely seen enough of what's going on over there. Whacker just popping up with another couple of queens. And we see a resonating glaives push perhaps coming in from Fear in the very near future again. So very similar to the last game, only expanded before the gateways. We never really got to see him obviously really do what he wanted to do in the last game, because it was more so just defending what his opponent was doing. I mean, we sort of saw him going into Resonating Glaives, and I imagine it's going to be more of the same. It could be a blink play, definitely won't be charge. I mean, it could be one or the other. Either is really viable here, as this Zergling going to get turned away initially. A couple of Adepts going to chase after it and look to try and hunt it down, and this poor Zergling is going to get hunted down. Oh, 2 Adepts find it when it only needs, I guess it needed 2 hits actually. After it regened a little bit. Fair enough. Alright, so Resonating Glaives does start up, Robot Facility on the way too, and probably, I mean, it depends how much he really wants to commit to this. There's an option to go kind of 5, 6 gates and just mass Adept. There's always just the option to just kind of build up to 8 Adepts and then behind this be going in towards Immortal Production, your Forge, your third base and stuff as well. And on 2 gates though, so going up to 4 gates already. So looking to start increasing that Adept count, and this looks as though it'll be another gate too, so now 5 gates total. And still no gases here on the natural of the Protoss player, so Whacker might be in a little bit of trouble here very shortly as third hatch on the way up over to the left hand side. You'll see a couple of Zerglings popping out from this hatch in the main, and I mean the Roach one's on the way up, so you'll have Roaches available to him early enough. It's just about realizing what's going on and making enough Roaches early enough to be able to making enough roaches at an early enough point of the game to really be able to defend from the incoming adepts. 6 gates building. That's 8 gates total, guys. It's a lot of gateways. We see this Warpism on the way out as well. And again, right now, Waka hasn't really seen anything to suggest. He's seen nothing. So he hasn't seen anything, so you can't really just kind of figure out what's going on here. His Swords is less, Swords +1 continues to drone. And this lack of scouting from Waka, left this first overlord in the bottom left, left the second overlord to the top right, hasn't come in yet to really see what's going on. And because of this, he just has no information about what's happening. Now he'll see adepts starting to come across the map. As he loses 3 of them 4 Zerglings, he'll actually be able to, with a couple of these adepts, pick off that Zergling which was left over. And there's Warpism coming across here as well. Waka immediately starts a couple of Spine Cores in the front. 4 roaches on the way up too. These spines aren't going to do a lot though. These spines are literally just going to kind of die in a couple of seconds. 6 roaches now on the way. These first adepts are going to start coming up, and we'll see where they want to go. If they want to just focus all together, or what. Only 6 roaches against this number of adepts. The adepts just going to kill things so quickly. This roach keeps getting transfused, so staying alive for now is another warping of adepts on the low ground. These adepts doing a lot of damage over here. These few adepts have to back away as we see these adepts moving on up in towards the main base. Not really doing too much damage just yet, and giving Waka a chance to kind of rebuild his, his army numbers. We're going to see another big warp in here in a moment from Fear, and oh my god, he's going to get a force field on the ramp as the sentry comes in. This is going to be huge. Force field on the ramp if he wants it, as the warp prism though is going to fall. Okay, so he doesn't force field the ramp just yet. He's just going to commit on top of this queen over here. Now he force fields the ramp, which is interesting. An interesting kind of decision. Bit of a weird way of doing this, as the adepts will go over towards the third base. How much damage has been done? Hasn't killed a single worker until now. He will start killing off some of these workers. As we see these adepts over the natural getting some work done. 13 workers suddenly killed. Wow, 15 workers suddenly killed. All of a sudden he's killing workers all over the place, and so Fear will even up the worker count, but he's running out of momentum. He's still killing workers in the natural. This is huge. 22, 23. Wow, 23 workers killed, and the last adept goes down in the main. Okay, so he puts his opponent 10 workers down, but is it enough? Second wave of this attack gets ready to come in. He's actually got an immortal building. Some zealots now opening. So it looks as though Fear will kind of attack once again, harass a little bit more with some adepts. And while he harasses a little bit more with some adepts, he'll kind of just maybe build up in towards a big 2-base push with Zealot Immortal. So we're going to see actually, Waka initially here very out of position to deal with this incoming drop. His third base completely empty, still just making roaches, looking as though he really wants to commit to kind of counter-aggression. He does have +1. But no roach speed yet, as these adepts drop off. They're just going to start working their way against this on the low ground. Just going to lift into Warp Prism and heading towards the main. And just going to be a bit of a nuisance over here. Waka realizing he's not going to get damage done if he pushes the front. And so just begins to pull back instead, as Fear is going to kind of move around with these adepts and just hope to see, look to see what he can get up to. We're going to see one of the adepts just being saved down, like 1 hit point literally. A couple of workers go down. He picks off a queen as well, and just denying lava injects. Without lava injects, only 1 queen up right now. Without lava injects, you struggle on lava, you struggle on lava. How do you make enough units to deal with what is about to be a 2, maybe even 3 immortal push coming across the map, looking to kill you in the very near future? That one adept which got saved on very low health before does now go down. As you see again, just lift and move in towards the main base. Spinecoil will get into position here, but it's not going to be here in time, as we've already seen 3, now 4 more workers haven't gone down in the last few seconds. It's now 5, it's now 6, it's now 7 and 8, and maybe a 9th. Momentarily. No, he's just going to fight against the Spinecoil. He's actually very busy dealing with this attack at the front. Couple of force fields initially very good to keep these roaches pinned back, keep the immortals safe. 3rd immortal now as well, and 3 immortals against this number of roaches. He doesn't even care, he just comes straight down this ramp. There's Burrow though. However, Observer on the way up, and with barriers on the immortals, that's the problem. The immortals just don't go down fast enough. The immortals just don't die fast. But hopefully we can power on through. Let's do this as we introduce our players. To the bottom right side of the map from AT Gaming, we're going to have our blue Protoss player. It's going to be Fear, with the chance to finish up this series and take the victory for his team, much needed victory for his team, who will be looking for playoffs this season and will not find playoffs with losses to teams such as Romandy Gaming in week 2 and losses to Gravity in week 3 if they aren't able to win here today. So the bottom left side of the map from Gravity is going to be their ace player, the Yellow Terran. It is going to be Semper. So, some TVP here for Ruins of Seras. We'll see what Semper and Fear both want to get up to in the early stages of this. Semper actually opening with a Reactor or Reaper Expand, and it is going to be that Reactor popping down. And Sophia just going to sit on the low ground with this probe and just try and just be annoying and block this for a couple of moments. But literally only for a couple of moments, as this SCV is going to push it away now. So this probe gets pushed away, another SCV will chase. And the SCV looking to just get some... Well, he's already actually scouted across the map, so this SCV coming across is really just a waste. So Semper has to pull that back. I mean, Semper's seen all he wants to see as well. He sees the natural coming down, he sees the second gas timing. So he knows it's not going to be any kind of super early aggression. And he just knows what's going on at the very early stages of this TVP. Which is always nice. Always good to know what you're playing against, what is going on for your opponents. As I see this SCV just coming back home to start mining up once again. A couple of Marines popping down from this reactor on the barracks. See a mothership core currently building, about to finish. And yeah, I mean, mothership core about to finish. We see a couple more probes being built up here. Factory is on the way down. And CC about to finish too. Very standard openings so far from both players. Let's start with this TVP. TVP a matchup which has obviously changed a lot due to the Adept nerf in the last couple of weeks. And we see kind of now the Liberators kind of being the main balance issue in the matchup. Yeah, let me actually just fix very quickly the bracket command. Edit command bracket. Sorry about that, didn't realise it was wrong. Alright, cool, so yeah, let's see what's going to happen. As we see this robo facility just on the way. So again, I mean, the Liberators have been kind of the main issue of balance, I think, in this matchup lately, but the Stalker Adept composition early in the game is still very strong. So yeah, you see a robo facility starting up. Gonna see a warp prism on the way out here in a few moments' time, and a robo bay dropping down too. So warp prism gonna be popping out, looking to see what it can get up to. There's a few adepts just gonna be shading but cancelling, as they don't really want to run into that pack of Marines. Alright, well, I love this build out of Fear. It's going to be the kind of Warp Prism speed disruptor drops. I really, really love this build. I think it's fantastic. It's so fun to watch. It's so fun to cast. It's not very fun to play against as a Terran player, though. As you see, these adepts going to shade up and just try and get some further information into the natural and main of his opponent. Not really too much for him to see, though. Tank on the way for Semper. As these few adepts just sitting on the low ground, going to shade up again. I'm going to see them picking off an SCV, and then just backing away a little bit. What's up, Dark Ones? How you doing? How you feeling? Hope you're doing good today. As there's that first disruptor on the way for Fear. No warp prism speed though, which is generally part of this build as well. So maybe he just goes warp disruptor drops, but I think the warp prism speed is very important because it really allows the warp prism to literally come in anywhere and do so many kind of different things basically. So let's see what happens as we see this disruptor about to finish up. Still no warp prism speed again. Okay, there it is. Gravitic drive starts. Okay, so he's going to start getting this. He needs to pop his chrono boost on that too to make sure he catches up with it. That's something which he'll want to get out ASAP. It only takes a minute to kind of research those, so it's not that bad. As these adepts come back home. Semper has a wall set up at the front, and I mean, again, just kind of mining, setting up his production. Getting his extra barracks now, adding on his starport a little bit delayed, just because he committed into kind of a couple of tanks here early. So, very kind of the initial. This is what we used to see initially in TVP in Legacy of the Void. It's kind of a TY's 3CC build, where you don't get the starport quite as quickly. Recently, we've actually been seeing a lot more starports kind of earlier, straight away to go into some Liberator harassment. But not here, not today, as this warpism comes across and has a look to see what it can get up to in the next couple of minutes. So warpism just going to be flying across, just wants to see what it can achieve and what it can get up to if it flies in towards this natural expansion here in the next couple of moments. So warpism going to start moving forwards. We'll drop a couple of disruptors off, and here we go, disruptor in towards the mineral line. No reaction from Semper. That's already 5 workers killed, which is pretty nice, as we're going to see another few workers. Oops, bit of miscontrol down the second disruptor, and so it doesn't actually pick off anything at all. So no kills on the second disruptor, but 5 on the first. Next on the way at the third base. And obviously this warpism will continue to come around and just look for more opportunities to drop. Look for more opportunities to pick off more workers, pick off some army. and stuff like this. You know, this is one of these builds which really rewards you for being very strong at multitasking. If you can constantly be looking for openings, looking for opportunities to get damage done with your disruptors, if you can always be looking for those opportunities, you're in a very good situation. You're going to be having a pretty good time. As we see, these couple of disruptors just chilling out up on the high ground. And you'll see 2 medevacs coming across the map. With 15 marines inside of them. Just drops one onto the watchtower. Like the fact he dropped one out of the full medevac. So now they have even numbers. Makes me happy. These disruptors, again, they should really be looking for damage. They should be in here, you know. They should be dropping off, picking off a cyclone, picking off even the depots at the front. They should be looking for ways to do damage in the main base, just anywhere. Drop over here, run into this army. You know, this is what these, this is really what these disruptors should be doing, and he's missing out on a lot of potential damage done. Because, I mean, by now he could have had another 2 disruptor shots off, which he hasn't had already. As he will spot these already. Actually, this Warprism, okay, will spot these 2 medevacs moving along the bottom side of the map, as there's 2 medevacs up here as well, getting ready to unload in towards the natural, already unloaded, but getting ready to push in towards the 3rd base or so. I'm going to start stimming in here, and you're going to see that disruptor coming in, looking to try and harass the 3rd. You see 6, 7, 8, 10 workers killed already. Over towards the 3rd, and that'll be a lift and drop in towards the main base now, I think. There's these disruptors over here getting 4 workers and another 3, so that's 7. But again, imagine he picked off 5 workers the first time, 7 workers this time. Imagine he got some damage done between now as well. It would have been huge. Just slow warp-ins, not going to help against this drop in the natural at all. December picks away at this cannon foot, and overcharges down, and Widowmine's getting some good damage done. Big blink to actually pick off both of those medevacs. However, into the main mineral line, oh my god, 35 workers killed! 36 now. Semper getting so much done here as he's going to start targeting down this Nexus, and, well, the army isn't going to get here in time. This Nexus looks as though it's just going to fall. Fear. Wow, just falling apart to 2 drops. And this, I mean, this first drop already stimmed in here. He already knew it was unloading in his main. And still, just like that. Wow. That's crazy. Alright, so, some Stalkers going to start moving out, and they'll start coming across the map and looking for some counter damage here. Where's the War Prism gone? Is it dead? No, it is over here with the army, so he's going to look for some more damage. He does see these drops moving out, and that's potential to blink underneath. Maybe we see a disruptor. Oh, risky. We'll get a couple of marines though in the end for it, so not so bad. As we see the 2nd disruptor thinking about what it wants to do. We're going to see this army starting to move towards the 3rd base. Semper will abandon this, knowing he's done so much damage already. Knows all he has to really do here is defend, and look at this bunker setup, tanks as well. Widowmines. There's surely no way at all Fear is able to push up through this. As the disruptors right now not able to do very much. Oh my god, this blink forwards. He's going to take so much damage to the Widowmines. He is pushing through though. SCV is going to be pulled into this at the same time. This drop across the map will start to stim in towards the 3rd base. As we're going to see Disruptor coming forwards, and whoa, gets a good chunk of SCVs. So all of a sudden, Fear is starting to pull himself back into this. This army at the front for him is doing a lot of damage, but is it enough is the question. As these last few battle units starting to get a little bit more done. We're going to see this 3rd base for Fear going to start being taken down as well. But that being said, he cleans up a lot over here. So Fear is, well, in a lot of trouble, I guess. Well, is he in a lot of trouble? Who's Semper in a lot of trouble? I don't know who's winning. It's a really weird situation. Upgrades are even. Both players are kind of attacking on other sides of the map. I think Semper has a little bit more army, and that means that Fear has to go back home. And Fear's still struggling to actually deal with this little dropship. Little drop. As these 2 medevacs are just out healing anything that gets done. Blink forward slow, and that's going to be 1 medevac down. The other one just going to escape. Just. Now the main issue for Fear, I think, is the fact that Semper, of course, saved his 3rd CC by saving this orbital. He's going to be able to come down and drop this into position. So he's, you know, by saving this, he's already got his 3rd base back up and ready to go. A couple of Colossi, a couple of Mortals, a few Stalkers. Thinking about where they want to go. A few Adepts being warped in now. We're going to see this Marine Marauder Medevac force pushing through the middle. Stalkers have to blink away pretty much immediately. We're going to see another scan coming down. Colossi maybe in a little bit of trouble here. Semper going to start taking this fight. A couple of Widowmines burrow. We'll just back off through them. Colossi doing quite a bit to this bio. Just to kind of start weakening it up. These medevacs on, well, not very much energy left. As if he had an observer, he'd be able to take down these Widow Mines already, and that would be great. We're loving this Warp Prism though, a few Adepts coming in towards this third base, but Marines Marauders already stimming in. Semper on top of this and going to shut this down immediately. One single worker killed, and that will be it as this gets cleaned up. These couple of Widow Mines still at the attention of Fear, as the real threat comes from the north. As we see these 3 medevacs going to come in towards the base right now, and we'll just start to unload in the corner, and Semper doesn't, Fear doesn't see this, and so Semper with the potential to get a lot of damage done. There's lots of Marine Marauder unloads, will stim forwards, and immediately Robo Facility going to go down. Robo Bay as well, maybe the Forges could be targeted. I mean, whatever he kills here is going to be worthwhile. Lovely Artosis pile to pick off as well. Twilight Council taking some heavy damage too. And I mean, again, just pulls Fear around a little bit, while Semper back at home is up on 3 bases, triple mule, and ooh, this Colossus at the front is going to fall as well, and I can just lift and leave while another army comes in towards the front as well to hit this third base. So again, it's just kind of so difficult to deal with here for Fear, as again, Semper just has so much ready to come forwards and hit the third, and I mean, this whole army is out of position for Fear, and because of this, Semper can just stim in, kill off all these workers, kill off the Nexus 2, and Fear's actually just going to type out game. As we're going to go to an ace match. It's all tied up, 3 games apiece. Because I'm feeling crap and stuff like that. So I don't know. Game 7 though, Central Protocol. Let's go into this and introduce our players. The top right side from Amazing Gaming, aka AT Gaming against All Authority. It's going to be Minimath, our green Zerg, as the ace from AT Gaming. And to the upper left side of our map, we're going to see the yellow Terran player from Team Gravity. Their ace player is Semper. Alright. So. Rax Gas to start things off here for our Terran player. And, ooh, Gas Pool. So what I think Minimath is looking at here is he's saying this is such a good map for 3 Rax Reaper. I'm going to look to shut this down immediately with my Gas Pool opening. However, Semper has not gone for that, he's not open with this just yet. We're going to see him adding on a couple more racks. He's not adding on a couple more racks. He's not going into 3 Rax Reapers. So this opening from Minimath is going to be fairly, it's not going to really succeed in doing very much. Now that being said, these horizontal spawns are very good for Terran to drop with. But I think very good for the Zerg to run by into the third with. And I think very hard for a Terran to really macro game against a Zerg player. Something we sometimes see is maybe them taking the gold base as their third, and that allows them to kind of rally push from the gold over towards the natural and the third of their opponent. It's going to be interesting in these horizontal spawns. We're probably not going to see much action of this south side of the map unless it really goes late, which, well, Central Protocol isn't really very well known for in terms of going late. I'll see a couple of drones just coming back over here and having a look to see what they can get up to. Just going to be mining away from the natural. Why are you digging a hole in the settee, Lexi? What are you trying to achieve? My dog has some serious issues. I think she's a bit crazy. I think she's kind of a bit doolally in the head, to be honest. As we see this SCV just patrolling here on the low ground. We do see after the command center just a couple more racks coming up, so Semper going to really commit in towards well, maybe Reapers. I mean, he's got a couple of Reapers already, so accepting that this is a good map for Reapers. This is actually kind of the more common build for this is actually the most common build in terms of TVZ on like Orbital Shipyard nowadays. Instead of 3 Rax Reaper to go Reactor expand into Reapers. And with 2 more racks on the way up, he's probably just going to go up to 6-8 Reapers in total. And then he's probably just going to go in towards Stimpack nice and early on and kind of build up towards a very aggressive bio timing here. In a later point in the game. As we see these Zerglings going to start running forwards, looking to see what they can grab. Ooh! Big grenade goes off, but the Lings have to be careful. These Reapers have to be careful too, as one of them will get caught. Great defense so far from Minimath. Alright, this Reaper is going to be coming up back home towards the upper left. As these Lings coming across and looking to see what they want to try and get up to. And they're going to look to see what they can achieve to this upper left side as they run on in. And, well, the Reaper's in position already. So the Zergling's going to come in and maybe get a bit of surround on these Reapers. SCV's being pulled as, wow, these Lings are going to get such a surround. Grenades have to start coming down, surely, to try and just protect these. As Semper's in a lot of trouble here, I think, although this Reaper count or the Link count is being lowered. Now we're going to see SC's pulled again, but Reapers will continue to fall. So early on in this game, I really like the position which Minimap finds himself in. There's a couple more Reapers popping out, but it is now going to be Marine production from our Terran players. So only a few Reapers left over, and I think this is pretty good so far from me. Ah, my microphone. Was that not even my microphone? What was that? What just unplugged? I just heard a USB disconnecting noise. God damn it. I don't even know what's going on anymore. 5 SCVs killed, 3 Reapers and 2 Marines makes this a bit of a better trade from Minimap's perspective. As we'll see a few Reapers popping up towards the high ground. And we'll put down the grenade here, start working his way against one of these queens. Another queen just gonna be pushed away as well. And we're gonna see this Rotron finishing up the Evolution Chamber too. Third hatchery to the right hand side is going to be finishing in a few moments as well. So third hatchery about to finish up. As we see these Reapers going to try and come in and look to see what they can achieve over here. A few grenades coming down just to deny the lava. Early on, as we see our Zerg getting ready to go up in towards +1/+1 melee upgrades. Lair on the way. And for our Terran, well, not really kind of much of a, much to talk about, apart from the fact it's very standard bio play so far. With the stim pack on the way, third Rax is already down, has been for a while, starport on the way, and the reactor building right next to that starport. As these Reapers might be in a little bit of trouble over here. Lings come in, we'll get a surround on 1 and 2 of them. And again, Minimap continues to shut down this Reaper play very effectively so far in this game. Now, one of the things that's very scary when you play against Semper in TVZ is that his drop play is very, very powerful. You can get a lot done with it, and that's something which we're going to start seeing come to life in the next few moments as the first couple of medevacs already on the way in the production tab. The Zerglings coming up the left hand side, and Minimap I'm just going to be looking to see what they can get up to. They say dogs take after their owners. Well, then my dog must take after my mum if she's insane. Ho ho ho, see what I did there? See what I did there? Just turned the insult on me into an insult on my mum. Check me out, aren't I cool? I literally just your mummed myself. Alright, Bane and S on the way down, some Lings on the way up. Spire, sorry, Lair's finished with no Spire just yet, but there it is. I was already thinking the Spire was going to be on the way. As we can see, these Lings and Roaches already in position to start dealing with this initial drop. However, there's not enough of them, and these Marines are able to push this back. No Baners yet, and these Marines, oh my god, are just going to do so much damage against these Zerglings. They will end up being pushed back, but this step is just cleaning up so many Lings. And great first drop out of Semper. As his third CC only just building right now though, so for Minimap, as long as he just trades units here and doesn't lose workers and doesn't lose too much momentum in the game, he's going to be pretty good. He's ahead by his Carapace upgrade. And as this medevac comes in, going to unload in towards the top right corner. And as these Lings stream forwards, we're going to see Semper having to lift out of here and load on the low ground now as well. And we see the crew spread on look pretty good too. Another drop down to the south side, and again, this is what becomes very scary when you play against Semper. These single drops just find you out of position and just start to do so much damage. But the upgrade lead from Minimap is very scary from the Terran's point of view. As you see, another medevac across here, ready to unload some Marines into towards the main base. Great creep coverage, obviously, in the main, allowing Minimap to have really good vision of any drops coming in. But nothing down to the south side to spot for something like this. A few Bins and a few Roaches and Lings in position, but a little bit out of position right now, as we're going to see these Lings just going to be being picked off. We see this medevac lifting up. As you see again, dropping towards the main base. But so far, Minimap has still kind of pulled on very well against this. And now he's going to be able to go in towards his Mutalisks as well. And that's what he was kind of stacking up so much money for, to start up 9 meters. And with 9 meters on the way, it's going to help him a lot in terms of being able to kind of, just clean up the drops and stop the drops from being too effective throughout the game. There's these couple of medevacs actually going to be joined by one drops out and then 3 more join. So you're going to see a big drop heading towards the main base here in a couple of moments. And well, I mean, this is the first time Minimap hasn't really been ready in the main for a drop, as we are going to see some drops starting to come down over here. In fact, everything's going to start dropping over here. Minimap will begin to respond to this. Another drop getting ready to stim in towards this third, just as he's used Move Rain again Semper just always punishing and always here in multiple locations in case his opponent's army isn't in multiple locations, and just doing a lot of damage because of this. We're going to see these Marines have picked off so many workers. How many workers have been killed so far this game? Only 14. It feels like so many more. These Lings are a little bit out of position, as we are going to see Muters on the low ground helping out and taking down a couple of tanks. But these Marines on the high ground still going to be tough to deal with, as now we've seen 22 workers killed in the game. So another 8, 10, 13 workers going down, as these Marines in the main base doing so much damage too. The Muters in a lot of trouble. And wow, it doesn't matter if you've got an upgrade advantage if you don't have any units to really fight against these units, you know, to fight against your opponent's units. So many Muters going down. This is devastating for Minimaf. Wow, he just lost every single Mutalisk. Every single Mutalisk. This third base is in a lot of trouble too. And, I mean, Semper just takes such a lead now. 21 workers up. His third base established. Mules dropping. His income is going to be skyrocketing above the income of his opponent. The only thing really left that's kind of half decent for Minimaf now in this game is going to be this creep spread. I guess the upgrade is good too. 2-2 against 1-1. But, I mean, he lost every single Mutalisk. Let's look at the resources lost and it'll tell you the story. Yeah, 7.1k to 3.9k. Yeah, it pretty much just tells you what you expect. That the Zerg player has not traded very well at all in the last couple of engagements. As Marines are pretty good. He's actually going to lose his main base now as well. So main base goes down, and wow, Semper, well, he will lose a lot of his army over here, but still, he kills off the main base, and he'll just continue doing damage around the map. He'll back away now. These Muters will chase these medevacs. Reinforcements already stimming over here to help out, though. Maybe this gets a little bit interesting if a counterattack from Semper is able to do a little bit too much. You know, a counterattack from Minimaf is able to do a lot, gather a lot of momentum. Then maybe something can happen here. These Lings are going to start streaming forwards. There is an upgrade lead, remember, on these Zerglings against these Marines. Muters coming in as well. They're actually going to be able to... Oh, they should have targeted down the medevacs there as well. We run out of Zerglings, but they do kill off the couple of tanks. So Minimaf staying in this for now. We'll just back away a little bit. We'll just back away a little bit further. Come in towards the main base now, perhaps, as we see some more barracks being added on by Semper. Another command center too. And here we go. These Mutalisks in towards the main. Just going to come in, pick off a couple of Marines, and just trying to be annoying. This is the sort of way which Minimaf can find himself back in this game. Harassing, being a nuisance, and just being a general pain with the Mutalisks. Pulling his opponent around the map. Similar to, you know, what Semper was doing. Semper was pulling his opponent around the map with drops. Now, Minimaf looks to do very much so, you know, looks to do the exact same thing with these Mutalisks, as they get turned away from the main base here. Once again, we see some Lings getting ready to run by in towards this third, but there's already a bunker up here, so Minimaf not really going to be able to get too much damage done. A little bit of indecision what he wants to actually do, and that actually is probably going to... Okay, he still gets the bunker, but still, I mean, more Marines are already in position, pushing these Lings away, so no real damage done again. And Minimaf, well, he's rebuilt into his main base. His hatchery's back up over here. He's still 10 workers behind, though. And this is brutal for him. Upgrades starting to catch up from Semper, and that's obviously a big relief for from his point of view. So these Muters and Lings just having a little bit of a look around to see what they can get up to. So Marines going to stem underneath these Muters, but there's them Zerglings coming in. And they're going to pick off that medevac drop quite easily, but Semper just using this chance to kind of move onto the map. He's gone out of tank production into Widowmine production, which I love as well. Widowmine's a much better kind of unit composition than tanks when playing against Mutaling Bane. As you see this Terran army just pushing forwards, cleaning up a couple of creep tumors, taking position out here on the map. As these creep tumors are dropping one after the other. Plenty of Muters overhead still. I mean, Minimaf's doing a good job of pulling himself slightly back into this, of surviving long enough to build up an army, but Semper, when he maxes out, he will push, and when he pushes, what is Minimaf going to do against it? He is not going to have the units he needs. He is not going to have, you know, anything which he needs to really, you know, maybe he can clean it up once, but he doesn't have the economy behind it to keep on trading, and that's where the real problem is going to be coming from. As you can see, a few Widowmines being burrowed here. These Mutalisks just doing a little bit more damage here or there. And a lot more Bane starting to morph in from Minimaf. Over to this right hand side, fourth base coming down to the south. That's a bit of a weird, that's a weird looking drone in there. There we go. There's the drone. Never forget the first time I built a hatchery, I was like, what? It uses my own worker? That's stupid. And I never played Zerg again for about 3 weeks or months or something until I decided to off-race. That definitely was the reason I didn't play Zerg, because I thought it was stupid that you had to use your worker died to build a building. Why would I do that when I can just play Terran and build stuff with my workers instead of using my workers to build stuff? As you see, these Marines are going to stem over here, and they're going to start picking off this hatchery. 4th base for Minimap. Looking as though it's going to be denied. Widowmine's in a pretty good position to kind of deny this sort of thing. Oh my god, this Widowmine shot is perhaps going to be huge, but no. Not quite close enough to connect onto the Banelings there. As a single Widowmine goes off on these roaches. Oh my god, this Widowmine hit though is surely going to be gigantic when we see it going off. Ah, there's none. Okay, 1 or 2 went off though. Not as big as I thought it was going to be. As again, Semper to the top side of the map, just stimming in with a few more Marines. Again, I mean, even the small trades, he's got the economy to kind of keep on rebuilding, and, you know, Minimap doesn't, especially as Minimap starts to mine out on the main, the natural. He doesn't have a 4th base to realistically send this to, because, well, okay, he does, but it's going to die very soon, as you see Marines stimming in towards the natural, and, oh my god, there's Widowmines in this mineral line as well, and they're picking off even more workers. Minimap down to the 40 worker count once again in this game. As Minimap will be able to push this back for now, but again, will he push back the next wave? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. Every time Minimap survives a little while longer, we've got to ask, how much longer can he keep doing this for with this broken economy, with this really tough position he's in? Planetary Force coming in at the 4th. We're going to see this orbital starting to move. Oh my god, my micro... What is unplugging? Is it the microphone? It can't be, because I can see that I've got the microphone still plugged in. I don't know what it is. I just keep hearing that USB sound. It's triggering me. It can't be the microphone though. The microphone is here and plugged in, and it's telling me. I can see it's being picking up my voice. Ah, god damn it! All right, Marine's gonna keep on pushing in down towards, so up towards this right hand side of the map, and looking to push in towards these bases. Let's see what's gonna happen. As Marines begin to split, Widowmine will not really connect on too much. There's just so many Marines though gonna come in, and now this 4th base has to be forfeit surely. As Minimap actually started this game in such a good position, just again really did kind of you know, really did just kind of you know, fall apart when it came to the drops. And as I was talking about in the first place, these drops from Semper were so dangerous, and if you let them start doing too much damage, they will just do too much damage. And Minimap, he's got barely any Banelings. Even with some very good connections here, it's still not going to be enough, because these Marines, there's just so many of them. Now they do begin to split, and hopefully a bit of a better split than what we just saw previously, as the Baneling numbers are running low. And yeah, I mean, again, some okay sort of connections, but only really Mutless left over. And okay, cleans up again. But look at this, reinforcements coming through the map, and Minimap's not even going to fight it out. I mean, it basically is the end, but not going to fight one more fight. He's just going to GG out.